This is the Art Marketing Minute with Eric Rhoads, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Make More Money Selling Your Art. In the Marketing Minute, we answer your questions to help your art career. Brought to you by artmarketing.com, the place to go to learn more about marketing. Now, here's your host, Art Magazine publisher, Eric Rhoads.
Thank you, Jim Kipping, and thank you for joining us today. I am here. My goal is to eliminate the idea of the starving artist. So let's get right to today's questions. Here's a question from Brenda H. of Kingston, Ontario. She says, I paint in acrylics, and I've noticed a certain response when I tell people that. For business purposes, should I change to a different medium? Well, let's start with the fact that there are tons and tons of successful acrylic artists in galleries all over the country. And so I don't know. I'm not so sure. I think it kind of depends on your gallery owner. But, actually there are more acrylic painters than there are oil painters. And I think there's more acrylic painters than there are watercolor artists, but I may be wrong about that, maybe flipped on that. Anyway, you can succeed very much in acrylic. And there's so many amazing acrylic products out there now that you can do a lot more things with them. And one of the reasons acrylics got a rap with oil painters is because, they dry fast. Well, there's now all kinds of acrylics that don't dry fast. And as a result, you can kind of mush them together like oil and they stay wet a little bit longer. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But, you might want to ask your advisors. If you have a gallery, then they may have an opinion about it. But acrylic is archival. It's going to last forever. It's beautiful. It just depends. I think acrylic also sometimes gets a name because some people paint very garish colors and very crazy things. And, that's okay too. But it just kind of depends. But now you can do so much more with them. So I think it's cool. And as a matter of fact, we'll probably start adding more and more acrylic. We've got some acrylic painters now at the convention, but we'll probably add more because there's so many acrylic people out there. The next question is from Leslie M. of Tubac, Arizona. I love that name. Tubac. Sounds like a rapper. As a director of a new art school, I worry about spending too much on advertising. What percentage of sales should we be spending on advertising? Well, it's a loaded question, Leslie. And the reason it's loaded is because advertising is about what you need to accomplish at the moment. For instance, if you're a new business and you're trying to create awareness, you're going to have to do a lot more advertising than you would normally if you're maintaining it. Or it also depends on the kind of business. Like an art school, it depends on your margins, how much money you're making. Some businesses have a high margin, like the cosmetic business. They make about 90% on cosmetics because there's no cost to put that stuff together. So they spend, 30, 40, 50% on advertising. And you notice cosmetic companies all around. Well, you're trying to gain market share. That's why they do that. If you're, you're only making 10 or 20% on your money, then you got to be more conservative. I think, roughly a lot of people kind of depends on the business, 5, 10, 15% of what they net on their advertising. But again, depends on the time and place, what you're trying to accomplish. There are times if I'm like launching a new business, I'll spend a lot more on advertising. There are times that I'll cut back because I can kind of maintain it, but I never stop because the minute you stop, people forget about you. So anyway, just kind of judge that. I'm sorry I can't give you more of a very specific answer, but you got to get the word out because if you don't get the word out, nobody's going to show up and then you're going to have expenses without customers. Well, this has been the Art Marketing Minute with me, Eric Rhoads. My goal in life is to eliminate the idea of the starving artist and to help your dreams actually come true. So if you want to submit questions, simply email eric@artmarketing.com. And to learn more about marketing ideas, you can visit artmarketing.com. Thanks for listening.